Hello and welcome to the Learning Center. My name is Lily Travellini, and on the 4th of July I had an enormous party. And there was this man who was absolutely fascinating, charming, intelligent, and a million things, and we've been laughing ever since he picked me up.
Yes.
His name is Eddie Nieto. Right?
Nieto, yes.
Nieto.
Yes, very kind of you. Those are very kind words. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, you've been living in Miami, right?
All my life.
Yeah.
All my life.
And so why did you move up here?
It was time to make a change. My partner's parents are here. They're getting up in age. So it was time to make a change.
I see.
So, you know, I had a nice business there for 20 years,
Right.
Beautiful house. Sold the house and packed up, and with 2 bull terriers, moved up here. So.
And I want to tell our audience that you are a designer and an architect.
Yes, yes.
So what made you become a designer and an architect?
I was always intrigued. I'll tell you how it started, actually. My parents took us, we went to Toronto once, and I had been to New York and all cities like that, so I wasn't sheltered from big cities. But in Toronto, buildings were able to breathe. In New York, nothing breathes. Everything is on top of everything. Yeah. So I was able to see the landscape with these big, huge buildings, and I thought, wow, I really love this idea. And ever since, I would figure out in my head, I would change this or I would do it this way. So ever since I was a kid, I always changed things in my mind.
Wow.
So, I always played that game wherever I went,
Yeah.
that I would do that differently.
Wonderful.
So,
Now, which do you prefer, being a designer or an architect?
well, I started out in designing, and I wanted, designers have kind of a reputation of being a little bit, the tipping wheel balance is not right there. So I wanted the indoctrination and the,
Right.
and the ability to be more, straight on with my architecture. So the balance of the architecture with the design, I think there was a marriage made in heaven, and I'm so thankful that I did that.
Now, did you train yourself, or were you educated in
No,
those
I went
areas?
to my undergrad. I went to Temple University in Philadelphia, and then after I graduated there, I went to University of Miami back home for my master's in architecture, and I spent one summer in Harvard for postgraduate courses. Only one summer, but I did get to say I went to Harvard.
Oh yeah, everybody would like to say that.
Right.
Right. So I've heard that you travel a lot.
Yeah.
Are you inspired by the places you go?
Oh my God, my parents always brought us up to travel and experience other cultures and be a part of different aspects and mentalities of life.
Right.
So ever since I can remember, I took my first trip abroad when I was 15, and it was to Spain and Africa.
Wow.
When my friends in school were going to Fort Myers or small places, I went to Africa. And
Where in Africa?
Northern Africa, Casablanca.
Oh, Casablanca. Did you see
Marrakesh.
Humphrey Bogart and
No.
Urban?
I wish I would have, though.
Yeah.
But I found it fascinating to be a part of those the
What
history.
inspired you in Casablanca? Did you carry it over to some architecture?
Yeah. All the places I've visited in the world have inspired me, like the Arabic motifs and the mysticalnesses of it. Turkey is a great place too.
My son loves Turkey.
Yeah.
Istanbul.
Oh my God, Istanbul is fantastic. The Sistines. I was in Greece, and my mom kept telling me, go to Istanbul, the history, this and that. And I said,
Really?
no, I don't want to go there. I was scared because I saw the movie, I forget the name of it, Midnight Express. So I didn't want to go, but it started raining in Greece. I got on a plane and went to Istanbul, and I fell in love with Istanbul.
What are some things there that you found? I've
The
never been there.
The Sistines, the mosques, and
Oh, yeah.
the motifs and the tile patterns, it just made me and enriched my color palette and my patterns and textures and the fabrics and things like that.
So what did you use in your work from there?
Well,
did you do a house or?
Yeah, I did houses. I used my motifs in bathrooms with tile work, mosaic work for the exterior of houses. You know, just interpreted in my fashion. I reinterpreted it. So it was wonderful, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. You know, I've used all my travels and my knowledge from my traveling in many aspects of my work, and I think that that's what's made it enjoyable.
Right.
And what you have to also consider when you meet a client, what their life is like and who
So
they are.
how do you get your work? Are you advertising or?
No, word of mouth. Word of mouth.
And they call you, and how do
Yeah.
people, start out?
Well, I think the initial thing is there has got to be chemistry there. I think it's important because you're going to be so involved in this emotional process of designing somebody's home,
Right.
You know, whether it's building it from the ground up or renovating it or just designing it.
Which you
interior. I prefer all of the above.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer building or renovations, and then I love construction.
Yeah.
And I just like
Now,
that
do
rawness.
you have a company that does your work for, like?
Yes, we usually we bid out for 3 different bids, and we sit down with the clients and decide which one we feel more comfortable with.
I see.
You know, and create a budget for them.
Yeah.
And you know, but it's a final budget where it's soup to nuts. This is what move-in ready will cost you.
Yeah, so
So-
I'm going to ask something that I'm so curious about.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything for some big name star, or
Yes.
can you share the name, or is it a secret?
Some are secrets that I
Yeah.
can't share because
Yeah.
it was part of my contract, but I
Yeah.
have worked with some A-list people, Eminem being one of them, the singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And I've done several different celebrities.
Yeah,
which
so
I
what do
can't mention.
celebrities, is there some special kind of house that they look for? And
Well, they're all different. Everybody's different, and I try to treat everybody individually. I never do the same thing twice. I try not to.
Yeah.
And that's one of my claims to fame, is that I take you and your lifestyle, your personality, your needs, your wants, whether you have a family, whether
Yeah.
you entertain a lot, and embellish all that in the mix,
Right.
and then create something for you. I do it in a 3D render, and that gives you a
Or
finished
what is a
look.
3D
3D
render?
render is the actual space
Yeah,
designed with
Right.
the furniture, with the artwork on the wall,
Really?
with the colors on the wall, with the rugs on the floor,
Oh, I like
with
that.
the accessories. So there's no room for error. The client likes it or they don't, and we change. If they
now
don't,
is that like doll size or?
no. It's a visual thing. It's
Oh, yes,
done on the computer.
Yeah.
And we walk them through the apartment, the house, and they see all the different rooms.
Wow,
the
is that a new
kitchen.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's new. It's been around for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's progressed. It's very laborious, very intensely
So
laborious.
you have to design that and
Yeah,
create it.
You build the walls up. You start with a plan,
Yeah.
like a typical architectural plan,
Right.
and then you build your walls up.
What do you
and-
build them up with?
In the computer.
Oh,
You-
and everything in the
Everything is in the computer.
But it looks
Everything
like
is in the
real,
computer.
yeah.
Yes, and it comes to life like, and usually the render turns out to be just like the actual finished product.
Right,
So, and
and they can watch it and say, I don't like that color, try it with another color.
Exactly. I've been pretty good. Most of my renders have gotten the thumbs up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you must be really
Yeah.
good.
I try to be.
Yeah, I can believe that, because you can go on traveling. I never knew that.
Yeah.
On my iPad.
Yeah.
So I toured Buckingham Palace.
Oh, nice.
I went into
Yes.
Queen Elizabeth's dining room
Right,
and,
right. That same
And it's so
concept.
real.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's
So,
marvelous.
It's
So-
changed the way design is.
Yeah.
Because before, when you just had a blueprint and furniture drawn on it, a client never knew what they were getting.
Is that how when you started out, that's what
Oh,
you
yeah. Yeah.
Because when did this start? This is a real thing.
3D rendering is about maybe 10 years old, 15 years old.
Yeah.
So, but it's progressed. Now the rendering almost looks like an actual photograph of the space.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it takes you, how long to do the rendering?
Oh my God, sometimes it's hours and hours and hours.
Right.
And once you do it, it has to process. So you need a very strong processor
Yeah.
to develop the render and make it life size,
Right.
life-like. And it's sometimes you have to leave it overnight, sometimes 2 days, depending on how many textures, colors, and patterns you have
And so you pick the rugs, the tiles?
yeah, we scan everything that we're actually, the actual materials and surfaces, we scan them into the computer, so they're actually real, what's been approved by the client.
Yeah.
So we, just use those actual textures, and then we implement them into the credenza, the kitchen cabinets, the sideboard, the dining room table.
It sounds
So,
wonderful.
yeah, no, it's a lot of fun creating
What
it.
if somebody like me calls
Yeah.
you and says, Eddie, I need more storage space. I have 3/4 acre of land,
Yeah.
so I can do something. Would you take a small job like that on?
Sure, I do small and large jobs. There's no job too small and there's no job too big.
Right.
So I'm at both sides of the spectrum.
So you've done developments too?
Yes.
different
I've
one.
done commercial work too.
What's the commercial work like?
Commercial work is like doing hotel lobbies or apartment building lobbies, hallways, office buildings, offices.
Yeah.
And the difference between residential and commercial is commercial, you're in and out, there's no emotion. You're
Yeah.
dealing with a corporate entity
Yeah.
who, has a budget. You've
Right.
fulfilled their needs
Yeah.
within that budget. You're in and out.
Yeah.
In design with clients for their homes is a little more emotional. You get attached to them, you get to know them personally,
Yeah.
so it becomes
Now,
a little more emotional.
If you have a client that has no taste, right?
Yeah.
Not
I've had
that
many
they're
of those.
already- yeah.
I've had many of those.
And they want something and you know that, oh God, if I did that, it'll be a disaster. Can
Yeah.
you change their mind?
I try my best. Like I tell my clients in the beginning, it's an educational process. You're going to be educated. We're going to both, and I always say this is a job that we're going to do together.
Yeah.
So I bring them on the bandwagon, and I said we're going to be on a learning curve, and and based on my information that I gather about them and their lifestyle and everything. Sometimes one of the clients wants this or the other thing, and it's really not appropriate, or it's so dated that you shouldn't go that direction. So I try my best to educate them and bring them on and have them learn
Yeah.
as to why it's wrong.
Right.
You know.
Now, do you have a favorite architect that might have influenced you in your work?
I have a few, but
Who are they? I want to see if you mention any one that I like.
well, one of my favorites, and I'm having a mental block. He's Brazilian.
Doesn't matter. He's
Yeah.
Brazilian.
Yeah, he's Brazilian, and he's very modern in his feelings and his interpretation of buildings. And most of my architects that have influenced me have been on the modern side.
Well, that's Frank Lloyd Wright.
Frank
right?
Lloyd
Bill-
Wright, yes, is
he
one of
didn't
them, yes.
knock down the hill.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
built right into
Well,
it.
what I like about Frank Lloyd Wright is that he integrated into the natural setting.
Exactly.
He built and made it a part of, instead of alienating what the surroundings are all about. And
Yeah.
I thought that was remarkable and
Yeah.
wonderful.
What about I.M. Pei?
I.M. Peg is wonderful, wonderful. Not one of my favorites, but I do
Why
appreciate
not?
his work.
Yeah, why not? It's
I-
good to know.
I
It's too
feel,
barren?
Yeah, it's a
Too
little
sta-
too barren. It's a
Yeah.
little too.
Stark.
It's missing
Yeah.
that oomph. I don't mind stark, but I just think I could like it a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I like when I grew up in Miami, and Miami doesn't have a wonderful building per se that you leave, an icon building that you say, oh wow, that's known for that building. Like New York has the Empire State Building,
What's
the Chrysler Building.
What is Boston's icon?
Boston also doesn't have an icon
Yeah.
building. They don't have an icon building.
Right.
And,
Not even the, what is it, the John Hancock?
But the John
That really isn't either.
No, it really isn't. The Prudential is the most iconic
Yeah.
that comes to mind for me.
But,
But Boston doesn't have great architecture, and I wish they would because it's a great city.
Well, why do you think they don't? They have
I
enough
don't know.
architects
I mean,
working.
they just built. They're building this building downtown. It's a condo building, and it's super expensive.
I
The
know,
apartments are selling for millions of dollars, and it's just an ordinary building.
I wouldn't give you just 100,000 for any of
I
it.
know.
I
and
know
it's just,
exactly what you mean.
Right, and they should be. To me, I just discovered, and don't ask me for his name, but this architect. I think he's from Belgium. Belgium, yeah, I think so. He did the second phase of the World Trade Center in New York.
Oh, really?
And
Yeah.
it's done in steps.
Yeah.
And he's 40 years old. He's a very young architect to be at the top of his game at 40.
Yeah.
But he's so unique. He thinks outside the box. He's creating environmental housing that has, in the middle of a city, that has green spaces within a concrete space.
Yeah.
And, so he's rethinking. And that's what I love when I admire other people, when I give credit where it's due. And that's, in a city, you need to enhance the fact that there is no greenery. You have to bring it into it.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know.
what was the most expensive architectural building or house that you did?
Well, I'll tell you two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
One of my most gratifying works has been a project we did in Little Haiti in Miami.
Where's Little Haiti?
It's right by the design district. It's a little area where the Haitians live.
Oh, yeah.
And so we designed this housing, low-income housing, the first green building for low-income people. And that was, to me, and it looked fantastic. I mean, it was like, I could live there. I could live there. It was so
What made
nice.
it fantastic? Like
The design was very light, airy, and it didn't look like a building that would be a low-income housing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to suffer with the design.
Yeah.
But we made a design appealing, and we made it interesting inside, and the whole thing just was
So what
very
does that
rewarding.
sell for? About
I don't know the actual prices they sold for, but at the time, this was quite a few years ago,
Yeah.
they would have sold for maybe $100,000-something. So
Wow.
it wasn't that much.
That's a good buy.
Yeah. So that was one of the most rewarding. And then I've had jobs that were in the like $6 to $8 million, which
Oh.
were
Yeah.
nice budgets. So, but it's not how much money you have, it's how you spend it and what
That's
you
right.
do with it.
In everything, right?
And I've been fortunate because I always try to find new and innovative and cutting edge.
Yeah.
I was one of the first to do smart houses that respond to you and
Yeah.
that you can control from outside.
What do you think of those little tiny houses they showed?
I love them.
Do you?
I
That
love
you,
them.
They have to crawl
I
up.
couldn't live in one,
Are
but
you
I
serious?
love them. I think they're absolutely, some of them are fantastic.
I know.
For those people that can live in a space like that,
Yeah.
I think it's
But
fantastic.
tiny little stairways.
They're very,
and, yeah,
they're
then
very
there's a little-
designed beautifully.
Really?
They use every nook and cranny. I just couldn't live in one.
Yeah, I know. But isn't that
I
amazing?
find my bathroom that I'm living with now a little tiny.
Yeah,
So imagine in one of those tiny houses. I
And,
don't
you know,
think.
and these are people that are educated and everything.
Oh, absolutely. They want to put their money in traveling and spending money living
Yeah.
life and not paying their house as their life.
Yeah.
So it's quite a unique concept. I think
Yeah.
it's wonderful. I think
Yeah.
it's very wonderful.
But so do you have architects that you trained? Do they work
I've
with you
had many.
to learn your techniques?
Yes, I've had a nice group of young men and women that have trained under me that did their internships with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so one of them went on to work with Zaha Hadid, which just passed away last year.
I'm not familiar with that.
Zaha Hadid is a woman from Iraq,
Yeah.
and she became one of the leading architect engineers in the world.
Right.
She has projects all over the world, very innovative, very different.
Yeah.
She redefined the way buildings are built because she took it a step further. She, again, thought outside the box.
Yeah.
And she created forms and shapes and things in a living space that hadn't been done before. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. So I'm very proud of him, that he went on to work with her.
Well, what if somebody, like, after maybe a teacher who got bored with teaching and wanted to be, at 40, wanted to become an architect? What would you say to them?
If it's the passion, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Absolutely go for it. I think that it doesn't matter how old you are, because if you have that passion, you've been thinking about it for a while, and
Right.
you've been, dwelling on it. Just take that step and go forward, and learn a new aspect of living and direction, and create.
Now, do you have a project on hand now?
Right now, no, because I just moved up here, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
takes a while to get established and things like that.
Yeah.
So, not right now.
Now, how about Italy, their architect? What do you think of that?
I think Italian architects are wonderful. I did a project in Forte dei Marmi.
Where is that? What town?
It's Forte dei Marmi.
Yeah.
And
What province?
it's right by Florence on the coast, by the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful little town. And now it's all owned by Russians now. There's no more
Really?
Italians left there,
Wow.
unfortunately.
Oh,
But
that's terrible.
Yeah. We found the client wanted a house, and the history of this house was quite interesting, because the real estate agent took us around, and she grew up in that area. And
Right.
she said the original owner who built the house had a zoo on the property. He had
Wow.
lions and tigers and exotic animals.
Yeah.
So, but it was abandoned after he died. Nobody, it was unkept. There was graffiti everywhere. So it was, to work in Italy, in that town, you need to have an architect to work with.
I see.
So it was quite interesting to work with them, and they did the signing and sealing and presenting to the city.
How is the real estate in Italy going? Is there any bargains still?
There's no bargains.
No.
No bargains. And you'd think there would be, because especially in Italy, the economy is not great.
I know.
Yeah, but the prices are astronomical.
Well, when you get, who is it, George Clooney, only 2 big properties on
Right.
Lake Como?
Yeah, well, if you have that kind of money that George Clooney has, you can afford anywhere.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure he bought it at a good price.
Oh, yeah. Now, what other country? What about the Spanish architect?
The Spanish architects are wonderful. I love Gaudi. Barcelona is one of my favorite cities, because it's modern and in feeling, it's upbeat. I spent time in Madrid first, and then I went to Barcelona.
Yeah.
I have family that lives in Barcelona. So I came to life in Barcelona.
Yeah.
I remember, in my younger years, where we'd be in a club dancing till 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And just leaving.
Sounds like New Orleans.
Yeah.
So have you been to New Orleans?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
So what
it's
do you
quite
think of
lovely.
that? Oh, yeah,
Quite
yeah.
lovely. It's a lovely city.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that they've done so much work to bring it
yeah.
back to life.
Oh, yeah.
Since Hurricane Katrina, they got devastated.
Yeah.
But
So-
they're doing a
so-
great job.
This is another thing I'm curious about. If you're building a house, what is better to have, wood, brick, stucco? What is the best if you were going to
See,
say?
I'm having trouble getting used to the architecture up here, because I'm not used to wood frame houses.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a stucco and CBS
Yeah.
frame home.
Yeah.
I don't understand why everything is wood here, and wood siding or vinyl siding.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some homes that are magnificent here, but in overall, I think that a CBS house has more prominence, and it looks better built.
Yeah.
And for me, a CBS house is the way to go.
What is a CVS?
It's made out of stone, brick, or whatever you call them, the foot by 6 inches, 8 inches.
Yeah, as I told you, my grandmother came from Italy, and the worst thing she found, that she thought was the worst thing she saw, were the wooden houses She said, what kind of a country is this?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because they don't have any wooden houses in
Yeah.
Italy,
Yeah,
anywhere,
no,
even
no,
peasants.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's no wood there at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So this is like culture shock for me, living up here now,
Yeah.
because everything is wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
so-
rarely do you see
Yeah.
a brick.
No, and you don't see a lot of modern here, which I miss seeing
Yeah.
modern
That's right.
architecture. Yesterday I was in Cambridge, and I saw a beautiful new home that's going up, and it's very modern, very sleek.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, wow,
Cambridge?
kudos to them.
Yeah, but it probably costs 2 or 3 million.
No, I don't know. I mean,
Is it-
Cambridge, I'm sure.
Yeah, now, was there a house there that they knocked down? And
I would imagine so, that
Yeah,
they
because
knocked it down.
there's
Yeah.
nothing, there's no land available.
No. It was in a lot that was
Yeah.
demolished.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cambridge is a nice place to be
Oh my
living.
God, it's a lovely little area there. It's quite lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind living there.
So you live in Salem, right?
Yes, I live in Salem.
What about Salem's architecture?
Salem has some very quaint areas. I love the history of Salem, and I love going by the places and seeing that this is from 18 so and so, and
Yeah.
so I appreciate that and I respect that. So
Yeah.
it's a wonderful heritage. You know, Miami's only 200 years old, so
Yeah.
here you have places hundreds and hundreds of years
Yeah,
old.
do you like Miami at all? I wasn't too keen on it. I'm sorry, people who love Miami. I like Naples, Florida.
Yeah, Naples is lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Miami is my home. In
Oh, yeah,
Miami,
yeah.
I grew up there. So
Did you have a house or an apartment?
I
or-
had a house.
Yeah.
I had a house in Miami Beach, and it was a lovely house. It was made the cover of a magazine, and it was published all over the world.
Really?
So, yeah.
Did
yeah.
you build it?
No, it was an old 1929 house.
Yeah.
And I gutted it and renovated it from start to finish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have any of those pictures, do you?
Actually, you know what? I forgot to bring you. I have the magazine cover and article, and I was going to bring it to show you, and I forgot it.
Wait,
so I'll have to show it to you next time
What
I
was
see
an
you.
Architectural Digest cover?
It was Lux magazine cover.
Yeah.
And I also have a book that I forgot to bring you. I
Yeah.
apologize profusely.
Yeah.
That shows most of my work. It's a hardbound book, like a cocktail book.
Yeah.
So next time we meet,
Yeah.
I will
Eddie,
bring
I'm
you
enjoying
one.
this so much, but I think we're coming to an end.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
if people want to engage you or talk to you, how can they reach you?
They can reach me through my email, edn@edndesign.com. That's edn@edndesign.com, or through my phone, 786-200-3544. And my website is edndesign.com. You can only see it on a PC. You can't see it on a Mac. So sorry
Yeah.
about that, guys.
Well, this is so wonderful. And I
You are
hope-
a total delight. Thank
Am I
you.
really?
Yes.
See, I'm going to quote Mark Twain.
Okay.
He said,
Wonderful.
I can live on a good compliment for 6 months.
And
I'm all set.
you're all set.
Yeah.
It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. But I'm going to read a little goodbye thing you should practice. Live well, laugh often, love much.
Perfect.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.